Hello to my patrons and the people who waited a year. This is the big one. This is the Fast and Furious binge. I'm about to watch all the Fast and Furious movies in the next 24 hours. There's going to be a time lapse. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. You see a clock behind me. You can see the TV where I'll be watching them. I went to bed at 3 p.m. and just woke up at a little before midnight. And this is happening. Let's make history. Oh, I guess I need a thumbnail. I guess I need to look really tired from watching some Fasts and Furiouses, so. All right. Convincing, great. I need to think of an opening line that's not probably the most famous one. Of course, now I can't think of a single quote from the movie. I don't even know if I can name all the Fast and Furious movies. And this is where the theme song goes. Oh, I'm gonna regret this. You're listening to Fix My Carcast, hosted by Bear Claw Billy, and this is episode 107. Comedian and musician Keith Hebert is busy jacking some DVD players, but first, housekeeping. This is the show where you pick what I say and how I say it. Pick a topic or prompt by donating to the GoFundMe, and vote on the gimmick by joining my Patreon for just $1 a month. Join at the $5 or higher level and also get bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes footage. Links are in the description. Also down there, merch. Get yourself some merch. What is this fool, merch crazy? Get Fix My Carcast on a t-shirt. No new donors this week. The total raise for paying off my car repair debt is holding at $2,001. Also, when we get to $3,000, we unlock an automatic show gimmick, which is I will record an episode at sea. Fun fact, did you know that this whole podcast disappears when we hit $10,000? On green, I'm going for it. Hey, do you like the theme song? No? Well, if you make a donation of $50 or more, in addition to picking an episode topic, you get to change one thing about the theme song forever. Unless somebody else changes it back. Want me to add a stutter edit effect in the style of renowned film composer BT? I'll do it. $50. No new patrons this week. Bummer. Now it's time for a topic suggestion. I'll suggest topics I think I could easily talk about for a whole episode, though admittedly I think the show is more fun when it's something I'm completely clueless about. So, something I could talk about is the time I saw a UFO. Or maybe it was a UAP. Either way, I saw a weird thing in the sky. Want to know more? Donate today. Sorry, folks, just woke up. Checking in on the best city in the world, and our based on which city listened to the last episode the most, and our big winner is Portland, Maine. Congratulations, Portland, Maine. Let it be known that your Sensoji Temple, Meiji Jingu Shrine, and Shibuya Crossing are the best in the world for 7 days. Last episode, I talked about stand-up comedy while adding a laugh track in post. You can see raw video of the entire episode, including the awkward gaps completely devoid of laughter, over on Patreon. Also, head over to Patreon for a bonus episode where I talk about my best and worst experience with a heckler. And yes, both involved the same heckler. Okay, let's talk next week's gimmick poll. These are your choices for next week's episode gimmick. They are: discuss the topic in 60 seconds, incorporate 10 randomized movie quotes, cover my face in stickers, and our returning gimmick, eat 100 candy corns. Those Halloween gimmicks are still sticking around. So, let's review. That's number 1, discuss the topic in 60 seconds. Number 2, incorporate 10 randomized movie quotes. Number 3, cover my face in stickers. And our returning gimmick, number 4, eat 100 candy corns. Remember that any gimmick that gets just a single vote is eligible for a second chance in 6 weeks. Be sure to vote over on Patreon. The poll closes January 25th at noon Eastern America time. All right. Time for today's special $2,000 milestone gimmick. which is, oh, that's going to be a problem. I'll fix it right after this. Oh, this is going to be such a nightmare. I have to turn off all my automated things. If you're not watching the video version, my lights just turned off because this is typically when I would be going to sleep. Oh boy, we're in for just so many treats, friends. All right, time for today's special $2,000 milestone gimmick, which is watch all of the Fast and Furious movies and then record my podcast at the end. First of all, ground rules. Theatrical cuts only, no short films, Hobbs and Shaw counts. 5-minute break after each movie for food and or the bathroom. No phone, no friends, no notes. Podcast recording must commence within 10 minutes of completing the final film. Patreon patrons on my Patreon get to see a time lapse of the full marathon and credits confessionals after each movie to see how I'm holding up. The goal is to fit all of the movies into a 24-hour period, but there's no penalty if I go over. It's almost midnight. And at this very moment, I have only seen the first Fast and Furious film. When I snap my fingers, I will have seen all of them. Welcome to 24 Fast, 24 Furious. Of course, gimmicks don't start until housekeeping is out of the way in case any of them prevent me from sharing vital information. But now, we are entering the gimmick zone. And for you special patrons, you get to see the time lapse and the credit confessionals, which will happen now as soon as I fix the damn lights. All right, it is 1 minute to midnight. I guess this is technically credits confessional. Oh, I really should have stuck the landing on what I wanted the name to be. This is Credits Confessional 0. I have not started yet, but boy, am I about to. I got the movie all queued up. Oops, it came out of queued up mode. Good to know. We're about 30 seconds away. It's worth noting I have seen the first Fast and Furious movie. You can go on my YouTube and search for Fury Fastmas. The last time I attempted this, I only raised enough money to watch one movie. But I raised $2,000 this time, so I'm watching them all. So, starting out, just woke up, a little groggy. But I'm ready to do this thing. If you're ready to do this thing, I'm guessing you're probably more ready than I am. Anyway, 3, 2, 1. Fast and Furious, baby. All right, the dulcet tones of Ja Rule tell me that we are in the credits of The Fast and the Furious, the only one I've already seen. I want to keep these credits confessionals to just my stamina, my mental state, how I'm doing. I don't want to review the movies here. I have some bad news, folks. I'm already pretty tired. Full disclosure, in order to get enough sleep so that I could wake up right before midnight, I took a shitload of edibles, and I don't know if it actually helped me sleep, but it did make me feel super groggy when I woke up. I'm a little scared. How sleepy I am, and it's only the first movie, but I'm at least feeling awake. I'm just feeling really groggy, so we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. I was thinking maybe of skipping my first post-movie 5-minute break, but I don't think I can do that because I have to go to the bathroom. I've been snacking on grapes. You'll see what I have planned for lunch and dinner later. I thought about, Mountain Dew and Doritos and all the things that you would associate with, I don't know, being a Fast and Furious person. Anyway, I don't want to make these too long, so onward to Too Fast, Too Furious. It's not even 2 a.m., and my neighbors probably hate me. Alright, we are in credits on Too Fast, Too Furious, and I am not happy to report that I am already struggling with this. I think it might have something to do with having to watch it at a low volume early in the morning. It's still dark out. I think biology is telling me you should be asleep right now. But still holding up there. It's what, 3:30. It's hard to read a clock backwards in a mirror, upside down or whatever. Also, I'm realizing that by talking during the credits, I am missing who played all these people. I know there's a lot of people in these movies, and I'm probably going to have trouble telling them apart. There were a couple of actors where I was like, oh, I love that guy, but what's his name? And if I know. I may be regretting not taking notes. These movies are definitely all going to blur together. But that's half the fun, right? Anyway, credits are still going. Yeah, time to see what Tokyo Drift is about. As far as I know, the only one without characters from any of the other ones, but I think maybe they tie them all in eventually. I don't know. These movies are brilliant, don't you know? Alright, Tokyo Drift time. Oh boy, I finished Tokyo Drift. Check me out. It's checking the time. Here we go. It's about 5:20, coming up on 5:20. I'm really having trouble staying awake, and I only have 8 movies to go. Gonna be my first Red Bull break. I realized too late that I should have gotten those little cans of NOS. I don't know if they have sugar-free NOS, though. I'm trying to do sugar-free these days. Anyway, it's time for a sugar-free Red Bull. And maybe time for my first sandwich, because I'm sandwich crazy. I'm starting to think I didn't get much sleep last night. Like, you ever go to sleep and, like, you remember waking up a lot, but you don't know how much you actually slept? I'll tell you, when my alarm went off, I don't know if I slept at all. So, we could be in for a real something or other. Sun ain't up yet, but that's probably going to happen next movie. So, let's get started. I'm going to get some food and a sugar-free Red Bull, and then Fast and Furious, which is the 4th one. Here I go. Watch me stay awake. Alright, it's Fast and Furious credits. That's 4 down. We're coming up on 7:15. I do feel like I have a second wind. I don't know if it's because I had a Red Bull, the movies are getting more ridiculous, or the sun is coming up. But regardless, I do feel a little more awake. So we'll see if that stays with us. I don't know. I could see this going either way. I could see me just riding it all the way down, or I could see it being a real struggle for a bit. It also seems like the credit sequences are getting more animated, and the first one had a post-credits. So, you know, predating the MCU and all that. So I'm guessing these are probably going to have more post-credits. So I maybe should be more careful about talking during the credits. Also, I keep missing, like, who everybody is. I don't know the name of Dom Toretto's sister or the actress that plays her. So maybe I shouldn't be talking over the credits. But too late now. I've committed to the bit. I'm going to really keep my eyes peeled for what her name is, though. Alright, back at it. Gonna have some more sandwich. And I don't think I need another Red Bull, but we'll see. I have 3 left. So, anyway, thank you, Justin Lin. Moving on. Fast 5 coming up. Credit confessional. I just finished Fast 5. It had like 5 endings. I have to poop so bad. What time is it? This is what time it is. If that makes any sense to you. I can't read it when I'm looking at it in a mirror. 9:20. 9:20, baby. Yeah, Fast 5. It's all done. I'm feeling more awake. I'm gonna say it's partially the sun coming out and partially how crazy the end of Fast 5 is. It's very exciting. I had heard that the ending of 5 is really good, and yeah, it's really good. It's really exciting. I'm not trying to review too much here, but this is just a check-in on how I'm doing. And I'm wide awake after the ending of Fast 5. I was really digging it, and I'm excited to see what bonkersness is in store. Is this the halfway point? Halfway point of 11 movies is 5.5, so I guess technically partway through 6. I gotta go to the bathroom so bad. I don't know how long these credits are. It looks like there's 10 minutes left. I'm really afraid of leaving during the credits in case there's like some teasery thing. So I'm gonna hold it, but it says there's like 10 minutes of credits left, and I hate that. All right, on to Fast and Furious 6, I think it's called, coming right up. Hey, credits time. I just finished Fast and Furious 6, or according to the opening titles, Furious 6. Here's what time it is. It's just about 11:30. Oh, it's past 11:30. Coming up on 11:45. I'm holding together okay. You may notice I'm laying down. I'm not asleep. I'm actually wide awake. It's just my back is hurting from being in the sitting position. That's probably louder than it needs to be. Also, there was a mid-credits thing last time, so if I just suddenly stop talking, it's probably because they're revealing some weird thing. No, I guess not. Okay, another bathroom trip? Oh, there is a mid-credits thing. Okay, bye. Sorry I had to cut the last mid-credit confessional short, but I'm making up for it with bathroom confessional. I couldn't make it through 7. I had to go to the bathroom in the middle of it. Here's where I left off. Anyway, I'm resuming now, but in case on the time lapse you're like, what was that little gap where you disappeared for a little bit? I really had to go, you guys. Credit confessional time. I just finished Furious 7 or whatever it's called. They can't seem to even agree on their own titles. We're looking at a little past 2. About to start 7. Mental state, a little choked up because I didn't know this was the last one Paul Walker was in. For some reason I thought that was 8, so the end of 7 started coming around and I was like, this is seeming real set. Oh, and then the montage hit. So little choked up. I didn't even know Paul Walker that well. Yeah, sorry, I'm not supposed to talk about the movies, but like, mental state. I wasn't ready for it. I thought 8 was the big send-off, so now I know. Holding up okay. Got 2 Red Bulls left. Pretty darn awake right now. I'm a little surprised. Yeah, keeping at it, keeping going. Fate of the Furious, or F8, or Fast 8, or Furious 8, or whatever the hell they call it. It's on deck next. Here we go. I just hope I don't forget to put Hobbs and Shaw in there somewhere. Hey. Flavor Flav coming up on about 4:30. Just finished Fate of the Furious. Where should my eyes be? There they go. Just finished Fate of the Furious. And just for the mental health, I'm losing steam. I really am losing steam. I've been through all my Red Bull. And in this one, at one point, and maybe this was just because of a bad edit, I'm trying not to talk about the movies too much, but this feels relevant. First of all, every time I went to check the runtime, there was too much less. Some incredible action scenes in this movie, but still I was like, this is too much. This is too long. Was losing the thread of the plot at one point, and there was a really bad edit where I thought that Dom had been cloned. There's like a scene where he's running with a suitcase. They cut away, they cut back, and he's in a car driving at full speed. And like, I was just like, what the fuck? There's 2 Doms now? And you know, normally 2 Doms can be a really good time. But yeah, so that's my mental state. Also, I had to change my clothes because the swamp ass became unbearable. So it's not a new day. I just had to change. Okay, lots to report on 8. Up next is, if I'm not mistaken, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. I got 3 movies left. I hope I make it. Whoa, the credits snuck up on me. Jesus Christ. They didn't do the usual hip-hop build-up. It's just like a sweet little fairy tale song. Or whatever this is. Anyway, I just finished Hobbs and Shaw. I need to turn this down. And same problem as the last movie. Just fucking... Every time I would see how much is left. Too much. Now, it's interesting. I've always been a proponent of an action movie should not be any longer than 2 hours. 90 minutes is the perfect action movie length. 2 hours is acceptable, but if you go over that, fuck you. These later Fasts and Furiouses are only like $2.15, but it's still too much. And most of that 15 is credits, but your action movie should be 2 hours with credits. And oh, there's a fucking scene. All right, I gotta watch this fucking scene. Anyway, onward to Fast Niner. Sorry, Hobbs and Shaw supplemental. There were like 4 mid-credits scenes, and fuck that noise. Anyway, let me get... God, one was just Ryan Reynolds doing terrible improv. And I think Paul F. Tompkins was the voice of a police guy? I don't know. I don't fucking know. My brain's pretty oatmeal right now. I got 2 movies left. I hopped on just to say that I am enjoying the action scenes in these later movies. The movies themselves are just a little too long. And yeah, it's getting to me. It's getting to me. I wanted to clarify that, like, am enjoying the action scenes. There's just too much movie. I'll get into it in the actual review portion, but like, it is making it really hard to stay awake. All right, sorry for the twofer on Hobbs and Shaw, but onward to Fast 9. I must be hallucinating from the sleep deprivation because I'm pretty sure they went to space. Did that happen? I don't know. Anyway, Fast 9, or F9, the Fast and Furious Saga. I don't know what the title of any of these is, but I finished it. I have 1 left, and I think I have just enough time left in the day to get it in. I would not have been able to do the short films. I would have run out of time. Yes, it's doable if you don't eat or poop. If you go to the bathroom, where's the fucking camera? If you go to the bathroom, like, in your room, if you have a TV in your bathroom where the movies are playing, it's possible, but, like, damn. Also, I don't know which ones were extended and which ones weren't. But anyway, I'm about to wrap this fucking thing. I'm awake somehow. How the hell do I stop this without putting my finger in front of it? Anyway, I'm awake. Fast X. Here we friggin' go. Hey, everybody. You see this? It's not midnight yet. And I'm in the credits of Fast X, which means I made it. There you go. I did all the Fast and Furiouses, and I'm tired, but like not as tired as I thought I would be. I'm kind of weirdly awake. I forgot I'm not talking about the movies here in this little mental health check-in. But I did it. I made it. I'm awake, and I'll record the podcast now. So enjoy that, you sweet patrons. Wait, do you want to see the time lapse, but a little slower? From this point on, gimmicks are active and everything is improvised. Today's topic comes to us from Turtle Rocket Books for $260, and I've been asked to review all the Fast and Furious films. 24 hours passed during that snap. I have just finished watching all the Fast and Furious films, and I'm going to turn my TV off right now because the old girl deserves it, because she's been going nonstop for a whole day. And if you're watching the video version, there is the clock behind me. With less than 15 minutes to spare, I have indeed watched all the Fast and Furious movies in 24 hours, feature-length, theatrically released, not counting the shorts, or the movie with that title from the 50s, or the show Fast and Furious Spy Racers, which apparently has several seasons, and you'll have to pay me a lot more money to review that. Before I get into the review, can I just get a round of applause for the fact that I just pulled this off? I don't know how many people in history have done this, but I sure did it. I will get into the how I did it in the bonus episode over on Patreon. Also, if you watch the video version of this episode on Patreon, you get like 15 extra minutes. So don't say I never did nothing for you. Consider going to the Patreon and seeing all the wild crap that I filmed for you. But okay. It is now my job to review the movies. Admittedly, I'm very tired. I'm extremely tired. Though not as tired as I expected to be. I have been awake for 24 hours. So I don't even know where to start. Well, where I want to start is the reason I have not watched the Fast and Furious movies. Now, some people might think, oh, did you just assume from the get-go that they're all crap, so you never started them? No, actually, Fast 5 got really good reviews, and some of my friends were like, you can just jump in at Fast 5, and I'm a completist, and I just fell too far behind. Every time a new Fast and Furious movie came out, I'd be like, no, I gotta get caught up, and then I just couldn't get caught up. So friends, I am caught up today, but I just want everyone to know that I didn't just assume that Fast and Furious is garbage, and that's why I waited so long to watch it. I assumed Game of Thrones was garbage, and that's why I waited so long to watch it, and assumed correctly. Anyway, but enough about Hell of Thrones. Go watch it right now on YouTube if you like me binging things that everyone likes, but I waited way too long to watch. I'll have to figure out what the next one is going to be. I was thinking the TV show Succession, mainly so I could call the binge Rapid Succession, but there's literally no way that isn't taken yet. Sorry if I'm a little squirrely. I've been awake for 24 fucking hours, and I've been watching action movies for 24 hours. I once, I think Patton Oswalt once wrote a bit about watching just both Crank movies in a day and getting way too charged up. Well, motherfucker, gauntlet thrown. Get fast, get furious. All right. I need to get into the reviews because that's what Turtle Rocket Books paid for. So, reviewing the franchise as a whole first, or should I do the movies all together first? I'm going to review it as a whole first. Loved it. Loved it. Love these movies. Adore these movies. Now, I'm polyamorous. I'm polycinematic, but I have to say, watching the Fast and Furious movies, I'm ready to break up with Mission Impossible. I'm ready to break up with James Bond. I'm ready to break up with the MCU. I was ready to break up with Michael Bay and the Transformers movies a long time ago. Hell, this one might throw some people. I'm ready to break up with Indiana Jones. Truly, I feel like this got the heart of adventure action cinema in a way that all these other ones are like too pretentious, or they don't take it seriously enough. And there's a lot of ridiculous stuff in these movies, but like they take it seriously, and that's what makes it work. So just an overall, in general, absolutely loved them. I cannot wait to talk about them with my friends. Real brief thing I want to say. If you have not seen them, I am going to spoil them. This episode is for people who have seen the Fast and Furious movies, but if you haven't and you just want like a general, should I watch them? Oh yeah, I would recommend, okay, don't watch all of them in a day. Stupid. That's for stupid people. But doing one a week? That sounds fun. Have yourself a Fast and Furious Fridays. There you go. Every Friday, watch one. Because watching them all in a row did fucking exhaust me. But also, I appreciated a lot of little connections between the movies that I don't think I would have picked up on if I watched them, when they came out every few years. There were a lot of moments like, oh, it's the guy from hey, she was in the... And so I think it's good to watch them close together, but not this close. Don't do what I did here today. I turned down a lot of fun things for this. Bonus episode. Go to the bonus episode to find out how I pulled this off. But yeah, no, I recommend watching them close together. Are there any that I don't recommend? No. There are some weak spots, but I would say watch them all. Even the weaker ones you kind of appreciate. Okay, well, I can see where they were going and maybe they'll get it right on the next one. So that's the spoiler free. If you, for some reason, are listening to a podcast episode about the Fast and Furious franchise, but don't want to know anything about the Fast and Furious franchise, that's my blanket. Yeah, check them out. Watch them close together. I would say maybe do like one at a time until 5, and then maybe do them in 2s. Really fun, really liked them. Like very little fat on them, but I will get to the installments that have a little fat on them. Some trims could be done for some of them. But okay, I got $260 to review all of them, so I better give each one a good and thorough reviewing. Okay, so number 1, The Fast and the Furious. Obviously, the original and still the best. No, just kidding. It's not the best. It's pretty good though. Yeah, no, it is a neat little movie. Everybody makes fun of the fact that they're stealing DVD players. But I like what this franchise has become. I mean, everything on a long enough timeline. Rocky defeated Russia in 4. So I'm okay with a franchise going off the rails, especially when a franchise was built to go off the rails. And even in the first movie, there's a lot of ridiculous stuff. Nitrous may be powerful, but it's not fucking warp speed. But yeah, Paul Walker's fun. I mean, oh my god, really? You see, I've gotten to know these characters so well, I've forgotten the actors' names. Vin Diesel. How did I forget Vin Diesel? I just watched 10 movies with Vin Diesel in them. How did I forget Vin Diesel? But yeah, they're great in them. I mean, the casts are just phenomenal in these. Shout out to the line, "What's with this fool? Is he sandwich crazy?" in the first movie. That is why I ate sandwiches today. Though I kind of wish I had ribs. Got a little hungry towards the end. Again, I'm going to save the process for the bonus episode, but yeah, first movie, it's solid. It's good. It gets picked on a little bit for being a Point Break ripoff, which, side note, that's probably why Point Break doesn't have 10 sequels. I guess mild spoilers for Point Break as well. If you've seen The Fast and the Furious, you've kind of seen Point Break. But they both have that, sort of ambiguous ending that then gets, definitive by the sequels. So I guess Point Break for sticking the ambiguous ending and leaving us to wonder what is going to happen to this character, whereas Fast and the Furious just goes all kinds of shit. All kinds of shit happens to this character after the events of the first movie. But yeah, check it out. It's about street racing and being a criminal, and it's fun. Too Fast, Too Furious. Also enjoyed that one. I feel like maybe 1 through 4 get kind of touted as the ass end. And then with 5, they kind of figured out the formula and just, kept that ball rolling. Not unlike that giant ball on fire, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So I liked, here's the thing, even the not as good ones, I still really liked. Too Fast, Too Furious, I think it's the only one without Vin Diesel. But Tyrese is in it. Is he Tyrese or Tyrese Gibson? Chris Ludacris Bridges? I don't know if he's still going by that, but that's what he was credited as. I don't remember what Tyrese was in the credits. But Too Fast, Too Furious, also fun. Does not hit the highs of the first one. Does have an amazing stunt at the end, though. And that was another thing I wanted to get into. I love practical car stunts. And I feel like the early era Fasts and Furiouses are like 90% practical car stunts and then like 10% CGI for all the if you know what I mean. And I think that's kind of the sweet spot for me. Like, you know, you look at your Jurassic Park, and, you know, that whole, like, you know, 80% puppets, 20% CG, that's a sweet spot to me. And these movies do progressively get more fully CG. So I appreciate the earlier ones just for the practical stunts. That said, I don't know if the big stunt at the end of 2 was actually fully practical, but, you know, at the very least, it looked like a car was thrown at something, so that's neat. So yeah, I liked 2. It had its merits. 3, it's interesting that 3 was kind of a weak entry for me. I think it was just kind of confused because it's not really related to anything we've seen previously. So brand new characters. It's called Tokyo Drift, but most of the characters are Americans abroad. Which is sort of weird. Also, I'm going to throw this out there. This is going to seem like a tangent, but stay with me. I believe it's XKCD by Randall Munroe, which posits that whenever you're watching a Batman thing, a Batman movie or TV show or reading a comic, replace the term Batman with man dressed like a bat. And it makes it way funnier because all of the like moments of like, oh no, it's Batman. Oh no, it's a man dressed like a bat. What does this have to do with Fast and Furious? I'm getting there. I do my topics a quarter mile at a time. Another name for Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift could be the Fast and the Furious, one specific driving technique. I feel like that's the problem is this is a neat way to steer. By the time you see it for the 50th time, you're like, seen it. Like, it's just like, yeah, okay. So it's a neat way to turn. Like, and that's just kind of the whole thing. It doesn't really go for like anything more complicated than that. And yeah, it does kind of get boring. Just like, oh no, big curve coming up. I wonder what they'll, yeah. It still had its merits. And it was directed by Justin Lin, who, you know, revitalized the franchise, and found a way to tie it in. I love all the weird continuity shit. And I was going to save this for a general franchise-wide review, but I'm just going to say this right now. My favorite thing is when you take the weak installments of a franchise and instead of acting like they never happened, boo, cheating, you find a way to make them good. And goddamn, I think Fast and the Furious is maybe the best at taking weird shit from the weakest installments and going, that's actually part of the plot and it always has been. That wasn't just some random fuckers abroad in Tokyo. No, they're part of the larger plot, but you're not going to find that out till like Fast 7 or whatever. Actually, no, it might be as late as 9. It might be as late as 9. I think they get like tangentially tied in along the way in like 7, 8, 9, which is why 6 was afraid of 7. Oh God, we'll get to the titles too in a bit. But yeah, no, you know, Tokyo Drift feels like kind of a weak entry. And then the next one after that is Fast and Furious, not to be confused with The Fast and the Furious. I think that one's also by Justin Lin. Please don't quote me on who directed which ones. I'm pretty sure that was Justin Lin though. That one was interesting. So I did not take any notes for this 24 Fast, 24 Furious, because I wanted to see how addled by sleep deprivation my brain was at the end. So I did not take any notes, and as the movies were going on, I was like, I am going to forget everything from these earlier ones because it was so long ago, just 24 hours ago. But yeah, I don't remember a lot from The Fast and the Furious. I think it's the first one where Han is back. So starting the idea of let's pluck characters from other installments and just get them in here. I just remember 4 has a lot of like driving in an abandoned mine, which is kind of cool, but it's very CG heavy. Like, I didn't feel any real danger. It just felt like someone is sitting in a car on a green screen and then we're adding the mine in post. I feel like there was some other good things in that one, but I cannot recall what they were because let's just move right to it. Fast 5 rocked my shit. And I will say, this is one of the times where watching them all in a day made me really appreciate them because it's like, oh, those are some of my favorite characters from a few hours ago. When I binged all of Game of Thrones in a week, I was uncomfortable watching a child grow up and then have a sex scene. But thumbs all the way up to Fast 5 making a heist out of the characters I just spent the previous 8 hours with. Yeah, Fast 5 rules. I get why it's a shot of adrenaline. I get why everyone recommends it aside from all the other ones and says, you don't need to see the other ones. You can just start with Fast 5. You could, but I'm a completist, and I'm so glad I completed this completion, because I feel like I really did get to appreciate, oh, it's him from that and her from that, and they're all here, and we're doing a heist, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Fast 5 has 2 incredible sequences, if I'm not mixing up which ones are in which movie, which is entirely possible. Believe it's a train sequence, and then there's also the bank vault sequence, which, oh, chef's kiss. It's so good. Also, despite having not seen this movie, I did watch a behind the scenes on how they shot that, and it rules. It absolutely rules, and I'm sorry that I had anything about it spoiled for me. I wish I had done it in the order of watch the movie and then looked up how they did it. Look up how they did Fast 5. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. Give it a googsy. So yeah, Fast 5, far and away, probably the best one. Yeah, I would say probably the best one in terms of just like everything's coming together and then it sets the ball rolling for some other pretty damn good movies. So 5, absolutely loved, absolutely loved. Was surprised by The Rock because not in a role I was expecting. I just assumed he would be, you know, one of the street racers jumping into a life of crime. So I was surprised when he was like a government guy here to stop them. But yeah, he's really good. I'm gonna throw this out there. I know that he has called himself a franchise Viagra. I don't think Fast 5 is good because of him, solely because of him. I will say solely because of him. He's very good in it. But I don't know. I think it's Justin Lin firing on all cylinders. Sorry, his name is in the word nerd. I really liked Fast 5, and then I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna get any of the titles right at this point because neither did Apple TV. Multiple titles, the one that was in the movie and the one that came up on the screen, 2 totally different titles. At least 6 and 9. Totally different titles from what it actually said when I clicked on it. So I'm just gonna call them 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from here on out because I don't know what the real fucking titles are. By the way, fun fact, I once wrote a comedy sketch that when you get to heaven, the only question St. Peter asks is for you to name all of the Fast and Furious movies. They must be correctly punctuated and it must be exactly as it appears on IMDb. That's the only question to get into heaven. And since I'll probably never make that sketch, the punchline was the guy finally gets them right and then he's like, cool, you're going to hell. So he spends, 5 minutes of the sketch trying to remember all the titles, only to find out, oh, no, you thought knowing them got you in. Oh, no, you go straight to hell. Because you've wasted your life. Because guess what? Even if you like these movies, stop wasting your time trying to remember the titles. The people that make them don't even remember the titles. Anyway, 6. Okay, so this is where I have to kind of stop and go, wait a minute, which one did that happen in? Because they do kind of blur together from 6 onward. 6, I think Luke Evans is a Shaw. Now, by the way, I knew there was a character named Shaw because there's a movie called Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. But I did not know there's 3 characters named Shaw. And now it's up to me to tell them apart. Thanks a lot. So the Luke Evans is, I don't remember any of the Shaw's names. I've fully blanked. There's just the Shaw that's Luke Evans, the Shaw that is Jason Statham, and the Shaw that is, I don't know the name of the actress. Yeah, 6 is the one with Luke Shaw. And I really struggled to remember parts of that one. I mainly remembered the flippy-doo cars, which is a really cool concept. And by the way, I'm realizing I've played GTA Online for a while, and having not seen any of the Fast and Furiouses, I didn't realize just how much they ripped these movies off. Pretty much every movie had something that I'm like, oh, like GTA. Oh, no, GTA ripped that off, yeah. Including the flippy-doo car, which was really neat. And then, it also had that plane sequence at the end that was really good. Yeah, liked 6. Okay, 5 is the top. I don't think anything tops 5. I'll say 6 through 9, and that includes Hobbs and Shaw. Pretty darn good. Not to jump right ahead to X, but I had some issues with X. So yeah, 6 is good. 7, oh gosh, okay, they are blurring together now. 7 is Statham. Oh yeah, there's all that stuff in the woods. Oh man, yeah. 7's good. 7's good. I feel like at this point I'm not reviewing them so much as trying to remember what happens in them and then relaying it to you. Yeah, 7 was a good time. Fate of the Furious, is that the one that opened with the bonkers? I think Fate is the one that opens with the bonkers car race where the car catches on fire. Ooh, they are starting to blur together now. I'm pretty sure that's 8. 8 had a lot going on. 8 had a little too much going on for me. Charlize Theron makes an incredible villain. But the movie overall, I wasn't... which one? Okay. Yeah, some of these really blur together. I think 8 had the one where all the self-driving cars attack Dom at once. Yes, that was the one. That sequence was amazing. That was like a horror movie. I loved that sequence. And then it also has the chase on the ice. Yeah, a whole lot of fun in that one. I couldn't follow the plot, and I don't know if that's just because I'm exhausted. And I've been awake for a while. I mentioned this in a special feature, but at one point I thought Dominic had been cloned just because of a wonky edit. Like there's a shot of him walking, they cut to something else, and then there's a shot of him driving at full speed. And because it didn't give my brain time to register he got in a car and hit the accelerator, I just was like, whoa, there's 2 Dominics? Did I fall asleep? And the thing is I would not put cloning past Fast and the Furious. But yeah, no, I enjoyed 8. Like, I feel like from 8 onward is when the lengths started getting to me. They start getting a little longer, and they creep past the 2-hour mark. And then just not a fan. Your action movie should be no longer than 2 hours. And then, okay, so Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw is a buddy cop movie, or in the modern parlance, a buddy bastard movie. That is, they just take 2 characters and send them on an adventure. I really enjoyed, I feel like I enjoyed the action scenes a whole bunch. I enjoyed that we got into The Rock's Samoan heritage. I mean, obviously the character of Hobbs is Samoan heritage, but like obviously also The Rock. So like I really like that they made that like a part of the story and like really focused on it. I thought that was really neat. The comedy did not work for me in that one. And I guess I'll daisy chain that into Fast X. That was also my problem with Fast X. Of all the things that these movies have going right for them, I feel like the comedy is the least right. Most of the jokes aren't too bad. They're not like Michael Bay cringe. Oh my God, Michael, we don't say that anymore. They're not that bad, though they do skirt that line. Some of the jokes are pretty misogynist. And, you know, I feel like as time goes on, they try to tone it down a little, but just a little. But yeah, no, just like all of the comedy, I'm gonna just do comedy in Hobbs and Shaw and X because it's really bad in both. I feel like Hobbs and Shaw has like that Judd Apatow, or I guess Paul Feig specifically. Paul Feig directed, Judd Apatow produced problem of letting the improv go for 2 minutes longer than it needs to. And like, goddamn, there were so many scenes in Hobbs and Shaw where it's like some comedian would just wander into the scene and I'd go, oh no. Oh, they're about to talk for 4 minutes and it's going to have no bearing on the plot. And they think this is funny. Ow. It really hurt. And I think Fast X had some of that going on as well. Not as bad, but there were some... I think the comedic tone is my problem in X. I don't mean to skip ahead. Let's go to 9, which I also enjoyed. F9, The Fast and Furious Saga, I think is the title that it came up as, but who the F and F knows? So Fast 9. Oh, they Godfather 2'd Fast and Furious, which I thought was really cool. You get to see scenes from Dominic's childhood, and that is awesome. I found it really effective, and I want to piggyback off of the comedy thing. I feel like the characters, despite the fact that I love seeing them, they're not the most important part of the story. I mean, they are a family, but I feel like when they give the characters too much space, I feel like backstory stuff, I'm like, yeah, I want to learn all about this character. But comedy stuff, I'm like, ooh, none of them are terribly funny. And yeah, so like I liked 9 because it focused on the characters, but it focused on like their backstories and things you might not have known. It kind of becomes a running gag that like I had a life before this, and like I love when they show you that life before this. And in a way that fits with the earlier films as well. Like, you know, they weren't all blowing up nanobots or whatever. So I really like that they try to honor that, like, you know, yeah, just because Dominic is, you know, having weird fucking jungle adventures or whatever, you know, he still had like humble beginnings as a poor kid who fixed cars. And I like that they focus on that. So yeah, 9 was good too. And then that brings me to 10, which like, ugh. There's so many elements that could work. Insane cast on 10. And I really like the choices except for one, maybe two. I'm just not a big Pete Davidson fan. If he was in a scene where he was important in any way, that would have been great, but like it was such a pointless scene. Like when people complain about the Canto Bite scene in The Last Jedi, they can Canto Bite me. But Pete Davidson's scene in Fast 9 serves literally no purpose. I think the only thing that's plot relevant is when Ramsey I think Ramsey just like sends a file or something from this computer store, but like the 3 to 5 minutes prior to that are just like, what the fuck is happening right now? It's really weird. It felt like the put on the glasses scene from They Live. It's like, what am I watching right now? A lot of scenes in Fast X just felt very unconnected. Like, where's this coming from? What is this connected to anything? There were like whole lines of dialogue that I'm like, wait, what? Why did that character say that? Like, I don't know. It just feels like a mess that couldn't be saved in the edit. Had a couple good action sequences, but even then they weren't as good as what came before. You know, not as good as when they fought a tank or a plane. Oh, and I do need to mention that in 9 they go to space, but they kind of make it work. Also, somebody pulls up in a DeLorean in 10, and I thought, oh no, they did space. Are they going to do time travel now? They don't do time travel. But I wonder if the rumors got around and they were winking and nodding on that. That's the other thing, is I haven't been keeping up with all the behind the scenes of Fast and Furious. So, you know, I don't know what things are winks for the fans. Like, I know Justice for Han was a thing. I'm assuming they're just, you know, people who want vengeance on Han or whatever. And well, I guess we're in the spoiler section, so I don't have to be too careful around what happens to Han, but he eats a lot of chips. I love Han. I love all the characters in this. I was so surprised. Like, before seeing these movies, I just assumed that these were the most generic characters, and why would anyone relate to them? And then I came out of this just like, I miss my friends. I miss Dominic's family. Yeah, they do a really good job of quirky heist team. But they all have just enough of their own individual quirks. They picked the perfect characters from the previous films to bring together for Fast 5. They did such a good job with that. I really hope the writers get more credit, and I want to go back through and see who wrote which ones, because in some of them the writing is really strong, and I need to throw this out there. It's hard to write stupid well. These are the most intelligent, stupid movies. Genuinely. I feel like Michael Bay gets it wrong. So it's either you've got your Michael Bay stuff, which is just extremely juvenile and bigoted and incoherent, doesn't make any sense, big bloated mess. And then on the other side of things, you've got James Bond and Mission Impossible being too cool for school. And then over here is Fast and Furious just being hey, wanna watch stuff blow up? It's never on a level of oh no, the exploding. Yeah, I can't. I didn't want to insult other movies that I realized were by some of the same directors. Justin Lin made the best recent Star Trek, and James Wan crushed it with the Aquaman movies. So these directors just kind of know what they're doing. I can't remember all the directors of some of the other installments. I know F. Gary Gray did one. I cannot remember which one. I know Rob Cohen did the first one, and he directed the Hurricane Heist. Don't watch it, but do watch it. If you've ever wondered what Twister would be like if it sucked, there's a good analogy. Twister is Fast and the Furious, and the Hurricane Heist is Michael Bay Transformers. That makes sense to all of you. You understand what's going on in my noggin. Last thing I'll say about Fast X is Jason Momoa's villain, I feel like I liked the villain, but I didn't like it for the movie. I feel like Jason Momoa's villain would have either worked in a horror movie or in a mystery, where he's this big friendly guy, but secretly he's playing with corpses. I don't know. Playing with corpses just doesn't feel like a Fast and Furious PG-13 thing to me. I don't know why. When there's a comedy scene in Hobbs and Shaw with corpses that had me cracking up. I don't know why that was funny to me, but no. There was no malicious intent in the scene in Hobbs and Shaw. Whereas in Fast X, Jason Momoa is just I'm a fucked up weirdo. Isn't that fun? And it's no, it actually isn't fun in this movie. I feel like it could be fun in another kind of movie. Oh my gosh, have these films been thoroughly reviewed? Check out the bonus episode where I will, talk about any stray thoughts that hit me after I've had a good night's sleep, which I'm about to go have right now. Before I do that, though, I do need to leave you with some words of wisdom, and because there was no gimmick poll for this week, I had my patrons vote on what it's all about. And I will tell you what it's all about by filling in the winning vote, which is, as always, it's all about family. Whew. Folks, I usually give you a little extra on the back end here, but I'm going to bed. I'm so tired. Yeah. Check out the bonus stuff for the process of how I made this happen. It was a real effort. Are my eyes bloodshot? No. All right. I'm going to bed. Night all.